I'm your host, Brandon, and today we are getting into some fragrances today, guys. Simple and plain, simple and plain. Hold on, let me close this. All right. My apologies. My apologies. How unprofessional. This thing is shaking around. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. How are you feeling? I feel great. It is 6:30 Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, 6:30 Tuesday morning. Yes, we're gonna wait for a couple people to get in here. We're gonna get going. We are talking about gym fragrances today. Gym fragrances. A little bit of etiquette. A little gym. I don't think there's a lot of etiquette for the gym. I also don't think that many people wear fragrances to the gym. Like true, real fragrance. I'm not talking about Axe or body spray. So we got some questions. We're gonna go through the questions. We're gonna talk about what we talk about. Come across some interesting topics, and just continue to develop and refine our understanding of fragrances. Refine. It's a good place to be. Good place to be. The last live stream went pretty well. You guys chimed in, gave your feedback, and the shorts do okay as well. So that's pretty cool. That's cool to see. It's very cool to see. I do like this slower one-to-one, me and you type of content for sure. It's I like connecting with you guys. The comment section is cool. I have different tiers of videos. You got the curated stuff, and you got the first impression stuff, and but this is cool because it's like one-on-one. Like we're like in it together, and I think that is super duper dope. So, without further ado, I say we go ahead and get busy. Go ahead and get active in here. What time do you guys wake up in the morning? What time do you guys get active? I know for me personally, I get up pretty early, but it helps me to stay focused. All right, so I wonder what this is about. All right, so we got 40 people in the room. Let's go ahead and get jumping. All right, so I wanted to talk about gym fragrances today. Gym fragrances are a very special topic. I think most of the time people are wearing gym fragrances after the gym, not necessarily during the gym. So I just wanted to talk about a couple fragrances that you could wear in the gym type of environment. Some things to look out for, some things to try to avoid. And generally speaking, I think that's the best place to be, best place to start. So, first question of the day. What makes a fragrance a gym-appropriate fragrance versus an annoying fragrance? I'm very curious. Put that in the chat. For me personally, I want something that's going to be very light. Something that is not going to hold more presence than what I'm trying to do in the gym. I don't want to be thinking about, oud, arglewood. I don't want to think about what type of amber. I don't want to think about that kind of stuff. I like my gym fragrances fresh, light, airy, lemony even. When you start, I think that's a more gym appropriate. I think those are more gym appropriate notes. When you start talking about heavy, smoky fragrances, heavy, like really, really fragrances that are super dense, I think that it's a bit much. I think you should try to avoid fragrances like that at all costs. Personally, that's how I think. Yeah. So next question. How many sprays is too many sprays for the gym? So I actually this might be a bit controversial, but I personally think that you should kind of overspray your gym fragrances. Let me explain. So you're gonna get a big boost from the body heat, especially like most gym fragrances are gonna be most gym fragrances are gonna be super projecting, alcohol based. They're not gonna be, Parfum or an extrait. That's just insane. And so because of that, it naturally is something that's going to kind of like waft around the room and kind of get picked up and kicked around. And I think fragrances like that are the best. A prime example I have of a fragrance that does that would be something that I currently cannot find. A great example would be Allure Homme Sport. This is the type of fragrance that isn't, traditionally like the lemony fragrance I was talking to you guys about, but it is a fragrance that is very smooth, very dense, subtle, but it's still fresh. I think the freshness aspect of it is what you should be looking forward to the most. How fresh is this fragrance without it being super dominant? This in particular, I think, is a great fragrance. Oh, thanks. Yeah, these glasses, I've had these for a while. It's probably time for a new upgrade. But thanks, I appreciate that. But yeah, I would say stick to fragrances that are either really, really fresh or kind of like dense and neutral. Hey, what's going on, Jax? Hi. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, fragrances like this, I would say, are where you want to go. It's interesting because they're fragrances that are kind of unnerving to people when they first smell them. But I think in the proper setting, it's more neutral, it's closer to the skin, and it works. The other flip side of that would be more of your lemony, bright, citrus bergamot type of fragrances. Those work very well. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the likes, guys. So I would highly recommend those. I think that is the best way to go. You don't want to be massively... they shouldn't be able to smell you in every part of the gym. It should just be around where you're at, like a nice freshness. Because like really what you're kind of doing is you're kind of just making the space fresher, if that makes sense, which is never really going to be an issue. No gym really smells great, right? So when you're in those environments, you're really just making the room smell better. So like I said, I like most people would probably say keep your gym fragrances real close to the chest and real minimal. I say overspray, man. As long as you're in like this neutral, sporty / bergamot type of aspect, you're really just making the room smell better. So that's what I would say, for sure. Now, whenever you're talking about fragrances, you gotta mention the duration. My day is going very well, Jax. How are you? I appreciate you for asking. Let me know. How are you doing today? Good longevity. This is the phrase I was actually looking for. I couldn't find it. It's a barbell. All right, so it's basically the definition of like being in the gym. So I think a gym fragrance, kind of like this. This is Davidoff Champion. So it's literally a dumbbell. Got this from Mom's. Thanks, Mom. She always picks great fragrances. Yeah, this is nuts. Pretty cool, huh? But longevity, I'm probably going against the grain on this. Oh, he's on the bus. Okay, cool. That's what's up, man. I probably would say that as far as longevity goes, I don't need it to be eternal. I probably, like, if my workouts are an hour and a half, hour 45, I would say if I can get a good 45 minutes to an hour out of my fragrance, I'm happy. I don't necessarily want something that's going to be super strong, because then I kind of feel like I'm wasting it when I go take a shower. You're gonna wipe this stuff right. You're gonna rub this stuff right off. So keep that in mind. And I think that's where the more affordable fragrances kind of shine, because there's kind of like a bright light that doesn't last very long, but at the same time, it does lend itself to be something that, once you scrub off, wipe off, it doesn't really bother you. Whereas, like, if you're putting Leighton on, or some Harrod, or some other big brand, Creed, Aventus, you're putting that on, you want that to last all day. I think it's like $8-9 a spray. So you want those to last all day. Stuff like this, fragrances like this, you don't mind if they only last, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. You don't mind, because at the end of the day, you're gonna go home and shower. Now, some of y'all funky guys out there not showering after the gym, I don't know what to say about that. But again, you want something that's gonna project loud, far, and something that you could wipe off or wash off very easily. Toilette's gonna come off a lot easier than a parfum, right? Just naturally. I'm not saying it's that big of a difference as far as like, oh my God, I gotta be spending extra 15 minutes in the shower to get this fragrance off. I'm not saying that. But a toilette is naturally gonna just leave you. Whereas a parfum or an extrait, those are gonna last a lot longer. And they're gonna be in your clothes and everything. And it's just like, why waste the extra juice, the extra cost on something like that? So that would be my opinion. So the next question is going to be, is it better to wear a cheap daily driver to the gym or premium clean fragrance? And we kind of already answered this. Again, my opinion, wear something cheap, something affordable, something that you could just keep in the gym bag all day, every day. If the bottle breaks, cracks open, who cares? That's the area you want to be in. Something that's kind of loud, something that's kind of fresh or very fresh, to neutral. That's kind of where you want to be. You want to have a fragrance that takes up all that space. That way, when you have to wash it off or whatever, it doesn't really hurt you. Because at the end of the day, it's just a cheap, bottle gym fragrance. I had Fahrenheit in my gym bag for, I want to say, a year and some change. I was taking Muay Thai, hitting the weight room, and this literally just stayed in the bag. And I would spray this before I went in, and it was a good time. It was a good time, and I don't have very high expectations for this. You're gonna sweat most of this stuff off anyway. The toilet, you're gonna just sweat it off of you. So I think that's also a great place to be. How do you transition from the gym to the rest of your day without overspraying? Going from the gym, immediately I hit the showers. And again, as long as it's not like a parfum or an extrait, I'm fairly confident I can spend, 10, 15 minutes in the shower and boom, it's off me. I'm back. And then I can go back and reapply the fragrance that I really want to wear for the rest of the day. So it's all about, I guess, it's all about knowing what your next step is going to be and being able to move accordingly with that. And being okay with the fact that fragrances wear off. Fragrances don't last forever. They wear off. Being okay with that. I think that's the key part. A lot of people just want their fragrance to be eternal and like best friends forever. And I don't think that's necessary. So again, 3 fragrances I would recommend to the gym. One's going to be Fahrenheit. Just because it's like, it just doesn't really have like a scent profile. People call it gasoline, but it's not super fresh. It's not bergamot. It's not, an oud. It's nothing like that. It's just kind of earthy. So I recommend that. Allure Homme Sport. I mean, it's called Sport for a reason. This is like when I think of this, I think of like football practice or like a basketball game or something that you can kind of wear and look good, Look good, play good. And as you're moving up and down the field or the court, you smell good. I would say it's more of a casual, fun time type of fragrance, right? And then another one is going to be David Champion. I know some people say that the lemon in here is generic. I think all lemon fragrances are kind of generic, and I think that just comes from the fact that lemon is like probably like one of the oldest notes ever, and I think it was kind of abused. So when people smell it, like, oh, it's generic. I don't think it's really generic. I just think that I think people are just used to it. Because I mean, when I think of generic, I think of something that's like cheaply made, and a poor performer. And I don't think this fits the bill of that at all. So I like this a lot. And again, it's literally a dumbbell. So if this doesn't give you an indicator on what to wear in the gym, I don't know what would. It's not very obtrusive. I spray this on like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And then I swear, by the time I'm 30 minutes into my workout, it's gone. It's kind of like just for me. I sweat heavy too, so this thing is just mostly just evaporates. When you're in the gym, do you guys get, oh, we got 300 people in here. When you're in the gym, hey, what's going on, Seth? When you're in the gym, do you feel like your fragrance changes the way it smells when you wear it? I'm curious, what do you guys think? For me personally, I haven't had that experience. Whatever I smell, I go to the gym pretty clean because it's either the first thing I'm doing in the morning or, I go pretty clean. I don't know. So maybe I don't have enough funk to change it, make it sour. But I do think that it's a fragrance, or in general, fragrances, they don't necessarily get really sour on me. So I'm curious if you guys have had that experience. Personally, they pretty much stay locked in. I don't know if this is for anybody, if anybody else feels this way, but when I'm leaving the gym, if I still smell my fragrance, I feel like I didn't do anything. I feel like I didn't really work hard enough in the gym. I'm curious, do you guys feel that way? Let me know. If I leave the gym and I can still smell my fragrance, or, not like, something like this or something kind of cheap, if I can still smell it, I feel like I didn't really have a strong workout. Another recommendation would be, okay, good to know, Seth. Another recommendation would be Wulong Chai from Nishane. That is a great lemon. I think tea fragrances are also great notes for the gym. I don't know what that is. I probably have to do a little bit more research on it. Again, maybe it's just that earthy profile, right? But I do think that tea fragrances are great for the gym. Hey, what's going on, King Demon? The King Demon. What's going on? How you feeling? Yeah, I do think that fragrances like this definitely great for the gym. So these would be my recommendations. Allure Homme Sport, again, sports in the name. Davidoff Champion, it's literally a dumbbell. And then Fahrenheit, of course, which needs no introduction. Probably one of the most controversial fragrances I've ever seen. People just like either love it or they hate it. It's so strange. Yeah. So, but at any rate, yeah, those are the fragrances I would recommend in the gym. What do you guys think? Let me know. I'm curious, like when you guys, and I guess this is like a collection-based kind of question, but when you leave the gym, do you reapply the same fragrance even after you take a shower? Or do you change fragrances? For me personally, usually I change fragrances. So if I go to the gym, I enjoy smelling it. But when I go home and shower, it's not the fragrance I'm going to wear for the rest of the day. I'll wear something else for sure. So I'm curious, do you guys just reapply the same thing? Are you guys wearing like Oud for Greatness at the gym? I'm very curious and what some of the reactions might be on that. I find most of the time when you're in the gym, you're so far from other people because you're in your own little world, own little bubble. Most people really don't smell what you're wearing unless you're like wearing something crazy OD strong. So, but I mean, those are just my opinions, my takes. Again, I go to a pretty big gym, so it's challenging to smell anybody else unless you're like on their heels. But yeah, that's it. Let me know some other topics you guys might want to talk about on the channel. Some things that you're curious about. Oh, appreciate the subscribe, Seth. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like on your way in, guys, or on your way out. I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. But yeah, What was I saying? I forgot. Let me know what you guys want to see on the channel. If you guys have any other questions. I do think that the fragrance community is headed in the right space. I think it's starting to kind of course correct. And I did a video a year or two ago talking about how people were just going to heel turn on you and not say anything. It was just kind of funny because I'm just watching it from the sidelines happening. And it's definitely going on. People are just kind of changing, you know, and it is what it is. Especially like the top tier fragrance reviewers, you know, they just kind of turn heel, and you know, it is what it is. It's part of the game. But just make sure you guys are getting fragrances that you like, because at the end of the day, you're the one with flipping the bill for all these fragrances. Buy stuff that you like, and you can't go wrong. Because who doesn't like a good fragrance? Who doesn't like a good fragrance? I don't think it's a bad thing to have taste, you know, and discover different fragrances. So yeah, I don't think I sprayed this one for you guys. You can see the atomizer. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad at all. But yeah. If you guys haven't checked out the Accord yet, check out the Accord. 2 newsletter a month. Last month's newsletter was fire. It was just about getting your, you know, how fragrances are only 5% of your smell. All right. The rest of it is going to be your grooming, your hygiene, you know, changing your socks and your drawers. A lot of y'all funky dudes ain't changing your socks. Change your socks every day. Every day. And just making sure that the fragrance has the best opportunity to smell the best that it can. I do think that a lot of times, hold on, I gotta get an idiot out of here. Oh. Yeah, I had to get some stupid person out. Yeah, I do think a lot of times, just making sure that you are. I'm not above blocking you guys, so let's make that sure that's clear now. Excuse me. I do think that a lot of times people kind of just want to take a shortcut. They want to get straight to the, you know, the compliments and all that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you're looking for, there's nothing wrong with that. But we all have to start from the same place. We all have to start from the same place, and you can't shortcut that by just, you know, applying some fragrances and still being funky. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. You got to do the push-ups. You got to do the push-ups, and the push-ups are brushing your teeth. You know, going to the dentist every, you know, 3 to 6 months, getting your teeth clean. Make sure you clean your ears, get the earwax out. You know, what else? Making sure your grooming is on point. You know, make sure you're not funky, wearing deodorant, stuff like that. Like, a lot of that stuff is important. You guys on the school bus should be paying attention to this too, because it's important. You can't just mask over the daily things that you should be doing. That's one thing my mom used to do, and I, you know, I got a lot of friends from high school or whatever, or when I was younger, and a lot of them, you know, their parents didn't necessarily make them brush their teeth and all that stuff, and now they're in their, you know, they're getting older in age, and they regret that, you know, the way they took care of themselves or their teeth or whatever, you know. And so, you know, shout out to moms, because I remember she used to wake me up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she would always say, "Get in there and brush your teeth," all that good stuff. And, you know, my chickadees, she would always do that. It used to drive me crazy. I used to hate getting up that early, just to brush my teeth. But look at your boy. Teeth look good. You know, I got a little gap, but hey, gap gang all day. I'm natural. Yeah, so you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. Fragrances are great, but there's a baseline of health and hygiene that you have to get. You know, and thinking back, man, you know, there are a lot of people that didn't necessarily, I can see it now, that didn't take care of themselves from a hygienic standpoint and how they're struggling today. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. But it's never too late. You can always get certain things fixed and cleaned up. And, you know, as far as this is going, guys, like, we're going to keep this free flowing. Like, I don't want you guys to think that any live stream or any topic is going to be boxed into just fragrances. We can always talk about fragrances, but I think in the end, it's more of a totality. You know, if you smell like $1 billion, but you have no teeth, um, it's probably not going to give you the same results, you know, as somebody who smells like $1 million that has all 32 teeth. You know, it's common sense, guys. You got to use your brain. Use your brain. Make sense. Make sense of this stuff. So anyway, yeah. So that was the newsletter that dropped this month, last month in January. There's another newsletter coming out in February, end of this month, last day of the month. So definitely check that out. The newsletter is strictly there to help you guys understand what fragrances do, how to make them last long, how to make them smell good or smell better. If you guys are interested in smelling, not smelling, but if you guys are interested in layering fragrances and stuff like that, let me know. Let me know. I can always, you know, craft something like that. Personally, I'm not a layering type of guy. I think that fragrances should just mostly, as an art form, just be enjoyed for what they are, right? Just enjoy the fragrance for what it is and appreciate it. A lot of people are, oh, I don't know. It's kind of like looks maxing, you know? Kind of like looks maxing. So I just want to make sure that you guys can see these recommendations. I know the camera's flipped. I don't know how to flip it around. I'll figure that out next time. Yeah, see, Wasu said layering works if it's done correctly. Yeah. Layering is I smelled this one lady probably like 3-4 months ago, and she smelled amazing. And she was telling me that she mixes like oils and stuff like that. And I was just like, hey, that's a whole different I don't know too much about all that. But I do understand the traditional method of layering, and we can get into that right now. The traditional method of layering, guys, is finding something that doesn't necessarily have crazy features. Let's see. Mega Man says, fragrance games is crazy, addictive. I'm actively reducing. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second. We're gonna talk about, stay tuned. We're gonna talk about that in a second. But layering, guys, I think it's kind of got like this sexy appeal, and I really think it's just a way for people to kind of flex, right? It's like, I'm mixing Creed Aventus with Leighton. I think that's what it's about. It's just people trying to show off their I think it's another way for people to show off kind of like their collection. But traditionally, normally layering fragrances, like these are actually perfect examples, right? So let's say you want something that's a little bit more earthy, more neutral, right? But it's not giving you the projection or the brightness that you would like. Then you would mix it with something that has that. These are very simple elements. You would mix these together. This would be a perfect combination for fragrances, layering them. This is how you would layer a fragrance. It's not about like mixing Francis. Well, Francis is actually a good example because like his they're very simple formulas. But it's not about mixing the most complicated fragrances together and seeing what you can come up with. It's not about that. It's layering. So you're adding your own base. It's in the name. You're adding your own base. You're adding your own mid. You're adding your own top, and combining them to make a new fragrance. So keep that in mind. Don't let these guys like trick you or make it overly complicated. The fragrance game is crazy, addictive. I'm actively reducing. Hey, listen, guys. In terms of fragrances, you only need like 4. You only need 4. You need something that you can wear out at a date night. You need something that you can go to the gym with. This is a gym session. Might title this YouTube stream gym session. Something you can go to the gym with. Something that you can wear every day, and then a signature scent. That's it. The rest of your fragrances should just be samples. Just get samples, guys. Keep it simple, and then you can start to branch out. But it's not about, unless you appreciate the art, and that's what brings me into it. I'm a creative by trade, right? So art is like, it's amazing to me. I love how these blend together and smell. That's different, and the stories that they tell. But you don't need all of that as far as like having a decent collection. You only need like 5 bottles. Let's say Wasu says, and forgive me if I'm saying you guys' name wrong. This text is tiny. You can buy 2 every 3 months. Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's no rules to this, guys. If you want to buy a fragrance or one fragrance a year, then do that. And I said this in my Herod video. You can go back and check my Herod video. If your credit score is like lower than 700, you probably shouldn't have a $400 bottle of fragrance. I'm just saying. Like, there are other things that you guys could be working on. If your credit score is 620, you should probably be focusing on getting that to a 700 versus buying a $500 bottle, right? Focus on that aspect of things. Focus on, you know, wealth building, stuff like that. Like, there's so much you can do. I appreciate the comment, Mega Man. I appreciate that. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe so you can stay tuned to this stuff. But like, a lot of this stuff is fugazi, guys. A lot of these, and I told you guys this a while ago, a couple years ago. Like, a lot of these streamers, YouTubers, are just gonna heel turn on you, and then I can tell you, they're just gonna heel turn on you. I've seen it happen so many times on YouTube, guys. I've been around YouTube for a long time. I've seen the same. It's the same stories. So anyway, there are a few good ones out there. You know, I'm not gonna say they're all bad. There are a few good ones. But yeah, guys, stick with fragrances that align with your values as far as what you're trying to do with them, right? And buy things that you like, and stay away from premium fragrances until you are, you know, somewhat established in life. Here's the secret. You want to know the secret? I'm gonna get real close. I'm gonna tell you the secret. Here's the secret. All right, I want to make sure you guys can hear this. Here's the secret. When you wait, you'll get it on a discount. You'll get the fragrance at a discount. It will flow from somebody who bought it when they shouldn't have bought it, right into your pocket, right into your collection. So be patient. Just be patient and understand that, you know, it will come to you, but you shouldn't prioritize it. What do you, Wasua says, what do you think about Fragrance World? I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that's a website or a YouTuber, or if you're just talking about the community. If you're talking about the community, what do I think about the fragrance community? I think we're starting to get back on track. I think that it's finally starting to get back to a more earnest place. Oh, he says their perfumes are good and pretty decent clone wise. Oh, okay, so they're a distributor. Yeah, I've never tried them. I'll let me see if I can pull it up right now. I appreciate the recommendation. If you guys got any recommendations from where you can get fragrances and stuff, drop it in the chat. Yeah, I appreciate that, Wasu. I'm gonna look them up right now. Let's see. Fragrance World. Fragrance World. Let's see. Here they are. Okay. Wow. Established in 1988. Sheesh. So they got French Avenue. I'm seeing Street Origins. Man, this is they look legit. This is the first I've ever seen of this. I appreciate you. I have to look more into this, but okay. So they sell, it looks like they sell mostly dupes. I see aromatics. Okay. Yeah. This is interesting. I'm Oh, I see. We are Fragrance World. We make premium perfumery personal, relatable, and within reach. Okay. Yeah. Founded in 2004, Fragrance World began with a vision to create high-quality perfumes that deliver exceptional value and accessibility. What started as a trading venture quickly evolved into a global fragrance house built on craftsmanship, creativity, and trust. From its roots in Dior, bustling markets to become a name recognized across continents, Fragrance World has remained committed to making luxury perfumery an experience for everyone. Today, with the state-of-the-art production facilities and their presence in over 150 countries, the company continues to shape the future of fragrance through innovation and integrity. Okay, cool. So yeah, they seem legit. 1998, 1999, 1988. They've been doing it for almost 40 years now. So he says, nope, that's a perfume house based. Yeah. I'm looking at them now. Yeah, I definitely have to look more into this and see what they got going on. But I appreciate you recommending that. Yeah, that's always good. That's how big the fragrance community is, man. Like, I've never even heard of these guys, and they've been around for, you know, almost half a century. You know, that's insane. So yeah, the fragrance world is huge, man. It's a really, really big place. So, but anyway, yeah, guys. Man, this thing's shaking. Let me know if the shaking is annoying you guys. I have to go back and figure out how to fix this for the next stream. But that's about it, guys. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out the channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like on the way out. It really helps, guys. It really helps, especially being a new YouTuber and somebody who doesn't necessarily do like a lot of like the hype stuff. Like, I'm just being real with you guys. It is tough. So if you could just help me out with that, I really appreciate it. But that's about it. Let me know some more things you guys want to see. Definitely check out the Accord so that you can stay caught up on the newsletter. And it's just a visual guide, because I know most people are visual. I'm an auditorial learner, but most people are visual learners. So I created like a graphic that you guys can look at and, you know, use it as a basis to be able to develop the essentials for the fragrances and what to avoid and all that stuff. And if you guys are interested, I can always do a round 2. But right now it's 1 a month. There's 12 rules to the fragrance game. And so there's 12 months in a year. So I figured I'd drop a visual each month. So that's what that's about. But that's the live stream, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me know. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see. I know I said this like 8 times, but I appreciate you. Love you guys all. And I will catch you. Oh, live streams are on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. So check back in Tuesdays, Thursdays morning. Of course, the replay will always be up. And I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.